Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we have yet another CareCollab. This time it's about Laelia / Cattleya purpurata. Unfortunately, all of my plants are still very young, so I can only talk about how to not kill seedling size / young plants, which I guess will be helpful for people that are just getting into the species like I do. However, I really hope to see more input on care from all the other collaborators here. I was invited by Fernanda Nascimento, and I'm really thrilled to join this CareCollab because if you've watched my channel, you know that I have quite a few young Cattleya plants and I really love this genus. And so it's very exciting to me to share the love with other people around the world. So the other channels that are involved, and I really appreciate that Fernanda shared this list in alphabetical order. So the other channels are Attainable Green, Fernanda herself, Karen's Orchids, Mary G Orchids, Ninja Orchids, who started the concept of CareCollabs. Then we have Patricia's Orchids, Plants and Other Things, as well as Tropical Plants Finland. So let me just start off with a brief description of Cattleya purpurata. This is one of these iconic, or even maybe to the next level, iconic Brazilian Cattleya species, or originally Laelias. It's the national flower of Brazil, and I really like that because it has this elegance that's just charming. It's not one of those super mega showy, frilly, outgoing, crazy Cattleyas. It's more subdued. However, there are lots and lots of color variations. So where you have the tipo, which is white sepals and petals and a magenta purple lip, you can have a blue lip. You can have the whole plant magenta. You can have the whole plant white. You can have a maroon colored lip, and so on and so on. So this is a very diverse species, which I think is one of the reasons why it's so well loved. So without further ado, let me just quickly show you my plants and talk about how I grow them. Okay, so to start off, I just want to show you my setup. So this is the main shelf for my orchids. As you can see, I grow indoors. They're all potted up. We don't mount orchids in this household. They grow under artificial lights. I use these lights to provide the plants with the amount of light that they need. I have a pretty small apartment and no south-facing window. So it's very difficult to provide the light that Cattleyas would receive in nature. So then, therefore, I chose to use grow lights. I adjust the daylight length according to the season. So in winter, they will get shorter days. Short in my definition means a 10-hour day. And then during summer, it will go up to even 16 hours. Changing the daylight length every month helps the plants get the seasonal cues to basically follow their natural rhythm that they evolved to follow. Okay, now we are up close and personal with my plants. This is the first Cattleya purpurata I got. I received it from friends of mine for my birthday last year in August, and as you can see, it's still a very young plant. I believe that this is a tipo, which would have the white colored sepals and petals and then the magenta purple lip. This plant came with these 3 bulbs already there. This one was still maturing, and now it's working on this 3rd bulb here. I'm very happy with how this one is developing. I have my all of my Cattleyas potted up in just bark to provide the roots with enough air, but at the same time hold on to water a little longer. As you can see, my temperatures here are kind of intermediate to warm. We have 25 degrees, which is, I think, nice for most Cattleyas, and we have a humidity of around 30%. Keep in mind, today was watering day, so this is kind of a high humidity for my setup, and this is definitely something I struggle with in general, to just keep the humidity high enough for the plants to thrive, which is why I could not imagine to mount my plants. In fact, what I do is I will add a layer of sphagnum moss on the bottom of the pots just to hold on to a little more water and keep them hydrated throughout the week. My work schedule does not really allow for a lot of time spent with the plants. I kind of have to find ways to minimize the kind of work input I have for them. Using sphagnum moss helps me mitigate the low humidity and keep them hydrated a little longer. And I'll show you a picture of this plant before watering, where you can really see that this bulb was shriveled up. I think now with spring and summer coming, I have to increase the amount of water I give them. So usually in the summer I water twice a week. And yeah, let's see how this one is gonna go. Then here we have, it says Laelia purpurata werkhäuseri. I definitely prefer calling them Cattleya purpurata just to stay more relevant with the taxonomic terms, but you know, everyone knows them as Laelia purpurata. I'm not gonna tell you what to name your plants. Right next to werkhäuseri, I have this one, this little plant, which is Cattleya purpurata sanguinea, and it's the clonal name Rheinblood, not sure how to pronounce it. I'll show a picture of this on screen as well. The sanguinea variant is basically, I guess, somewhat of a rubra, so it's a very, very intense color all over the flower. And then last but certainly not least, I have this pot here, which has the Cattleya purpurata vinicolor, which has a wine-colored lip. This plant was hauled very recently and unfortunately came with very bad roots. As you can see, the bulbs are all kind of shriveled up. This one is working on a new growth. Here's also a new growth coming, so I hope the plants will pull through, but look at this. It's definitely extremely dehydrated. I put some of this agrofoam here to kind of hold in a little more moisture. I just spray it every day and I hope it's going to produce healthy and nice roots. Okay, so now you've seen my plants, now you know how I grow them. I'm sorry for not being able to provide any more information. I've never had one of them bloom. When it comes to Cattleyas, I'm still very much a beginner. So thanks for bearing with me. If you have any tips, if you saw anything on the plants, leave a comment, tell me how to fix them if you noticed any issues. And with that said, please check out the other channels that are collaborating here. I have their links in the description below. Thanks for watching and bye!